Welcome to the Galen Trombley Show. Be sure to subscribe, review, and share the episode. You can follow me on social media at Galen Trombley. I hope you enjoy the show.
Greetings. Please hold for a very important message. Lightspeed sequence initiated. How may I help you?
Bonjour.
Security breach.
The truth shall set you free. Awesome. It's a miracle.
Stabilizing. 3, 2, 1. Mission complete.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
That's very true. Welcome, everybody. Episode 259 of the Galen Trombley Show. I've been out a couple weeks. We were on vacation. I'm back. Not tan at all. I burn. My guest today, he's only here because it's not snowing. Otherwise, he'd be out and about somewhere else. But Andrew Favreau, he is, I want to make sure I get this right. Well, TPC Landscaping, that's how he's known. New thing, which we're going to talk all about because I think this is cool. 80K RC crawlers. He'll go more into that because my knowledge is as a kid, RC cars, but obviously, he's playing with some big boy stuff here. So, Andy, whatever, for people that do not know you, who are you? How'd you get here? Give us all the goods.
Well, my parents brought me here at some point in time. Grew up in Champlain, northeastern kid, I guess. Spent a lot of time just outdoors around the Champlain area, and we moved to Rouse's Point like 2020, and I've never left Rouse's Point from there.
Wait, what year?
2020. Or
I was going to say...
No, 2000. Sorry.
Okay. So redo that. I know you've been there longer than 2 years.
2001. Sorry,
okay.
I was 20. So
okay.
that's where I got the 20 from. And then my wife has been with me for 23 years now. Casey Kirk, she's the CFO, president for U First Federal Credit Union.
CEO now.
CEO, sorry.
Okay,
yes.
no, that's fine. I was going to say she's
yes, the CEO.
She's no.
She's the big cheese down there.
She's up there.
We live in Rouse's Point now. We just had a newborn little boy. Started a little late to the game, but we're having fun with it. He's 4 months old yesterday. So
are you sleeping at all? Is he good at sleeping?
He's pretty good. Like, he's on that now. He's getting up like once in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
He was doing the every 2 hours when he was first born because he was preemie by like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So he's gotten better, more sleep.
So Andrew, a question for you on this. So we're about 10. What did you say now? Early 40s?
40. I'll be 44 next March.
So we're about 10 years apart. So I have kids. You just had your first kid.
Mm-hmm.
What's the, I guess, transition piece like you said, starting kind of having kids in your early 40s versus being younger? Was that how's the transition been? Because the only reason I'm saying this, it was tough for me as like a late 20s.
Yep.
And you've had probably a dozen more years of
that's one of the big things for us is like we look at it now as like we've done a lot.
Yeah.
He was kind of like, I would say, like a surprise for us.
Okay.
And a very, very good surprise. But he's coming into our lives at a point where we can fit him into everything that we're doing, and we can afford to have a child, and we're not struggling to make sure that we can buy formula and diapers and going in, okay, do we have a, stable home? We've been in our home for 15 years now. Mm-hmm. Like we have our house, it's not a thing. So it's made it a little bit more, like I said, we're not struggling, but it's a big change because we've always just done what we've wanted to do. Yeah.
Have you guys, so obviously you own a business and Casey is very high up. I mean, she's been at U First for as long as I've known her, but she's now has risen through the ranks there. How's that been affected by, like I said, two career I'd say career people. Let's say you kind of had your whole career, you started, now you have a family, you have a child, part of the family now. Has there been a big transition with the business? Big transition, like, have you found you're doing stuff differently?
Yeah, so, I mean, what we found, like, is, especially, like, when he was first born, within a week I had to be back out working because I can't step away from my business. I mean, I have some good guys working for me, but also 2 of them were college kids. Both went back to college, and he was born in the fall, and I didn't have all the help. I've got Parker Favreau, who's been working with me for 6 years now, so I can kind of. Okay. He's not a child, not my child, thank God. He's my cousin's son, and he's stuck with me for a little while now, and he's been a good, just stepped up to the game to do whatever needs to be done to make sure that, especially with having a baby, that I'm not overly worried about my customers being taken care of.
One of the things, so I remember having kids. I was the same boat. I actually had this conversation, what's today? Thursday, 2 days ago. We have another friend that's getting ready, or me and a couple guys were together. There's a mutual friend. He's looking to have his kid, but he was talking about getting paternity leave. And we were talking, me and the other guy, because we don't have that.
Can't do that. Yeah.
I was working, I think I was working 2 days after I got out of the hospital. When I say working, I was I wasn't running around on appointments, but
but you're checking emails and
and you're
sending
still,
stuff to people
are still
to
responding, and the world doesn't stop because your life kind of changes massively. But then each kid, I kind of progressively was in a position where I could take a week off. I could take maybe 8 to 10 days off, and again, that's stuff like appointments and actually having to be present. But yeah, it's tough to swing by because I would love to have. I mean, I'm sure you're the same thing. 2 months just to chill and hang out with the baby and hang out with Casey and just all that good stuff. But the one thing I found that after having a kid, my business has always gotten better since having a kid, just because you cut out. Basically, this is how I look at my life. I have work, I have family, and then I have my hobbies. And not in that order, obviously. Family is my big thing. But I'm saying so you kind of look at what you're doing. I took had to do a lot from the business side. To kind of take time away from the business side and work smarter, more efficient, giving up some hobbies, obviously, and then obviously the family took off because, as much as my wife, I think, loves me, she doesn't need me around as much, so it's when we didn't have a kid, I was like, whatever, you got to work, whatever, she's doing stuff, and but now it's hey, she appreciates when you're around and doing.
So we were in that boat where before he came, we were kind of. She was working late. She's in at 7:00 every morning. If she's in at 7:05, she feels like she's late. She's there to make sure when the place is opening up, and she's there when the doors close. And now I have a very weird schedule. I could be up at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, headed out to go take care of a snowstorm, or it's raining tomorrow in the summer, and I don't have anything to do except for to go to the shop and go do some mower maintenance. So I have a schedule where I was kind of coming and going as I please, and she's on a very, strict long hour schedule.
Yeah.
So we kind of changed where, she was trying to work from home with him, on her lap or whatever, and
being there.
And, so then she went back to work pretty quickly. I went back to work right off because I couldn't be home and run the things from home.
Yeah.
Now it's okay, we both got to be home by, try to be home by 5:30, 6 o'clock when she's picking them up and getting home for dinner. I run the 80K RC thing. That's an evening thing, but I have a friend of mine that helps me with it.
Yeah.
So I don't have to be there. We're open 2 nights a week, and then. Last weekend, I was supposed to go, or I got asked to go on a snowmobiling trip. Previously, I could just be like, "Oh, sure, I'm going to go." It's the night before, and this time it was we need to have a little bit of talk and a little bit of planning this out. And I'm like, so it didn't work out. And I was like, this changes things. Because I used to be able to just drop what we were doing and go do.
Yeah, and I think that's people have asked me, and last thing I'll say about kids is that your first one, because people we have multiple kids, but one of the hardest transitions was 0 to 1 because your whole life changes. And then we had our second, and 1 to 2 was, in my opinion, wasn't a hard transition. It's hard because you have kids, but it's not that much of a change because our kids are close in age. So to me, it's extra diapers, just extra kidnapping, extra kid getting up at night. Like there was obviously some trade-offs, but overall it was like we're already staying home. We already have to check our schedules. Our third kid, that was real. Like that, you get outnumbered, and that was a challenge. But 0 to 1 is challenging if you've never had a kid because your whole world, like you just said, goes upside down.
Completely, yeah.
And now you're just like, wait, crap, I gotta run it by the little boss first.
Okay. Where does he want to go today? Does he want to go? And I mean, it's.
Where's he gonna let mom and dad sleep? Like, not tonight.
Not tonight. No.
3 hours of sleep. That's all you get.
Yeah, and she's an awesome mom. I mean, she gets up and she's like, bright-eyed with them and playing with them, and that's you hear voices that all of a sudden you're like, we don't sound the same as we did, because now we're entertaining him.
Yeah,
like it's I wouldn't say it's weird. It's just different. Like it's
actually I lied. I'm going to ask you one more question. Did you feel so when our son was born, the first kid we had? It was weird. Like as soon as we had a kid, there was like something that almost like it's like drawn out of you, like deep from your whatever, something internally that you've never felt before, and all of a sudden you're like, holy crap, this is a human. It's relying on me. This is like something I created. All this like wild thoughts go through your head because you're like, it's tough. You can't explain it unless you're in the moment. And I remember as soon as that happened, I didn't know shit about nothing. I never took a class, never read a book. Nope. I forgot almost everything going. Yeah, so I was like, I went in totally unprepared. My wife, much more of a planner in that regard than me, but both of us just kind of like figured it out. And the thing I would say with parents and I never really, people never gave me advice, and I never try to give advice to people. The only advice I would ever say is that 2 things. One, do what works best for you, meaning your family, because everybody's family dynamics are different and schedules and energy level and all that stuff. So do whatever's best for you. And number 2 is like, I thought you're going to get this baby and it's going to be like, oh my God, it's crazy. I'm like, you get the baby and it sleeps most of the day. So the idea of like that truly like crawl, walk, run, that's what a baby does. It eases you in. So it does the learning curve. Hopefully there's nothing wrong with the child, but the learning curve is a slow, like gradual build into everything. Yep. So you do get a chance to be like, I'm sleep deprived, but he's not running around. I'm sleep but you get
and
these
the thing for us was him being a preemie with the feeding every couple hours, making sure that was a little bit of a wow. Like we've got to really focus on him and everything else.
Yeah,
but that went by quick.
Yeah.
And then now, like, I mean, we're 4 months in, and we're nowhere near know what we're doing still, but we're doing it.
Yeah.
But we've been bringing them everywhere.
Yeah.
We've been going and like, okay, let's throw them in the car seat and let's go we got to go grab a beer at Oval. We're going to bring them to dinner. We've brought them to Castle. We've brought him to Angelo's. He's been to Mickey's. Like it's
I think that's the best thing is get him out and get him used to car rides, get him used to people, let people hold him. Like we did that with our first kid, and he like can sleep through anything. Yeah. And our youngest was the worst, was middle of COVID. So he's like,
like so you couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't get him used to that stuff.
So my older 2 are fine. He's always the more like frantic one, but that was our thing. Like we're not going to let when we had 2 kids and they got a little more crazy, we opt more for the takeout versus the go out kind of thing. But when he was little, it was like absolutely. And I think it was huge. And we let people handle them, and just so he got used to people.
And we've been figuring out the places that are like a little more easy to go with them too. Like we went to SIP one time because SIP is always kind of that loud.
Yeah.
You can't really hear the next table anyways because it's echoey. So we're like, oh, this is a perfect place because even if he does cry, nobody's going to hear him really. And
he probably likes the sound.
And that kind of like, he was still young. He was still pretty young then, so he wasn't overly active. But now the more places we go, they're a little more vibrant, a little more like things going on. He's always looking around, and he's that's kind of keeping him entertained.
Dude, those kids are sponges, man.
Oh my God, yeah. It's amazing. So,
Well, going back to work, this is a question for you because some people talk about like I mean, obviously in real estate, and people are like real estate seasonal. I'm like to an extent, it's not as seasonal as what you do. So like what regarding I mean landscaping, because I'm saying obviously you do different things in different seasons, but like today you're like I can't plow snow and we are leap year today, but we can't plow snow. So obviously it's kind of how do you structure your week knowing that you are very Mother Nature is really your predictor. lack of predictability, I guess.
There is no structure.
Yeah, there's no. So what?
No.
Give us kind of like how do you plan stuff? How do you
even
daily, weekly, monthly? Like how
so
does
let's
this work?
play out last night because we went from 50 something degrees to teens last night with blowing, and it was supposed to rain. And my first concern is, do I have to go out and salt in the morning? Because am I going to be up at 2:00 in the morning going to get a truck ready so I can be down? Because I have places that open up for 5 a.m. Am I going to have to go do that? Like what? So I start thinking in my head, do I got to wake up and do that? Thankfully, Parker lives down here, so Parker's kind of puts himself in that same thing. But so get up in the middle of the night, take a look, see what it's doing. Getting up in the middle of the night now, anyways.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But so wintertime is really tough because you don't know. Like you're getting up at 2-3 o'clock in the morning just to look out the window. Summertime is a little more structured. Like summertime, we start 7 o'clock in the morning is the guys get to the shop. I'm not always there. They're always there, earlier than I am usually. Mm-hmm. So because I always feel like.
Where's your shop?
We're up at the old Barcombe Furniture Building up in Champlain. If you're
right
go
on
past
Route 9?
yeah,
Gotcha.
just past Honeymoor's Corners. Yeah, we bought that back in.
That's huge. You had the whole space?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a big
We bought
building.
that building. My father and I bought that building 5-6 years ago now.
I was going to say, because I remember as a kid walking back there, and it just felt like it went on and on.
Place is like a maze still. Like even
big old Zenith TVs and all the couches, lazy boys. Yeah.
Yep. It was. I mean, Randy. Miss Randy, but he had things pretty well cleared out by the time we got there. I mean, there was still some stuff here and there, and we still found Barcomb's furniture. Like we found these like.
You see any Barcombe softball jackets?
No,
my dad used to play in that. They had like these like almost like Letterman, not Letterman, but they're
because
windbreaker jackets. Kind
so Barcomb's always sponsored the softball team that played at the old Bull Mart in Champlain. That was huge back.
Yeah, that's what they played
back in the day. They had the big field where.
Now
there's a truck. There's that like truck sale or not truck.
Yeah,
it's
way back by the field.
Yeah, that's where the field was. So, yeah, but we bought that because we needed guys that don't. I don't know. Like I need to have a home to go to for business. Mm-hmm. There's guys that run out of their house and whatever else. I can't run out of my house. I did that for a while when I started up, but I need to have a location to go get away from the house and go and get my stuff together. And I have a lot of stuff. So the bigger the property you get, the more stuff you get. So, so having that, like I said, the guys being there, having a spot to go at 7, for 7 o'clock in the morning on a summer day to go get the trucks ready to go. Mm-hmm. That's the structure that we have. Summertime, you have your mowing. We have, I think we took care of like 42, 43 properties, a few more here and there, depending on what week it was last summer. They have a list, so they would have their structure of their list that they know, hey, last week we did this one so we know on Wednesday, because they did it last week on Wednesday, usually Wednesday they do the same property. Mm-hmm. But me, I do more of the landscape jobs. Mm-hmm. So, I could be working. We did a lot of work up in Chateauguay Lake last year. So I could be going up there for 3 days, but it might pour there. So I need something else to do over here because it's a totally different environment from
especially out there
from there to down here. So, so I may be going, I got to go do some of this, a little trimming job in Plattsburgh or go do something, that's kind of like, so always got to have something else in the. So
like logistics, are you the one that's doing all the logistic parts of it? You're doing all the scheduling, all like the dispatching, but
say dispatching. Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing with the mowing stuff is they kind of know where they're going every day. Mm-hmm. Unless I change, unless I call and be like, hey, so-and-so wants this done, because customers will call me the night before, send me a message.
Do you guys throw a lot of audibles or is it pretty structured? Like, does it change often?
It doesn't change as much as, I feel like it changes when you really go look at when you go bill at the end of the month and you're like, oh yeah, we really did do once a week here. When I'm like, this guy wanted me to go, trim this area. So I knew it was going to take them a little bit more time, but they still got done, the same amount of stuff. So we don't call an audible as much as I feel like we do.
Yeah.
But that audible can definitely
So when you have like
change the schedule.
So yeah, let's start in the summer, work our way back to the winter. So if you're, so again, you see lawn care providers and people going out and doing stuff. So you obviously, you have the lawn itself. I look at, especially our area, you have clay, you have sand, you have all these different factors. My lawn burns. I probably mowed it 5 times last year, and I'm not exaggerating.
And there on amount of rain we had. That's,
yeah.
but still,
It doesn't grow. It's in
drains.
Morrisonville. It's all sand. It's like grass is dead. It's burnt by midway through the summer.
Yep.
And then you go to some places, and people I know are mowing twice a week minimum. So is that some? I mean, is there certain lawns you hit? Like, obviously the frequencies are different.
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, if you go from Rouse's Point to, I mean, the farthest we go is about South Plattsburgh. I mean, we will go farther if the jobs are there. We haven't really gone. We've got landscape jobs farther south than that, but we haven't had the maintenance jobs.
Yeah.
So if you go from Rouse's Point to, say, Bluff Point and past there, I mean, you go from clay to sand. You can go back to clay because there's some stuff in the city here that's clay.
Yep.
And then you go out by the base, and everything is sand on the base. And so
South Plattsburgh, very sandy.
Yeah, so you're always like the sandy stuff just drains out and dries up faster, and but on a rainy day you can go, hey, it's going to dry up, so we can go in the afternoon and maybe go down and do something on a sandy property, and where the clay property you're not going to touch it for 2 days after.
So is it, and again, I guess is there, because I try to structure my schedule as best as I can. Obviously, it's like, things pop up and you put appointments in and stuff. But overall, like I really try to kind of have us, this is what I want my mornings to be, afternoons to be, start, stop kind of times. Do you have, I mean, is there really, obviously you have the lawns. I mean, is it really structured each day, or is it truly like, I have a very like loose thing I follow, and then I kind of pull what I want that day and just figure that out?
I'd say we're pretty loose with things.
Okay.
I'm not as, I've got some guys that I'm friends with that it's like, this day we have to do this, and this. I'm not on top of my guys as much as some, where it's like, you didn't get all this done. Well, is there a reason why you didn't get it done? Okay, well, let's make sure we get, we have to fit this in here and there. There's certain customers that I have that it's like, we set them up to be done on a Thursday or a Friday because they want their lawn to look nice for that weekend. They, whether it's their lake property or, we acquired 15 properties on Chattagay Lake to take care of over last summer. That was a big change for us because that's
This is just mowing, trimming.
Just mowing,
Okay.
doing like the spring cleanups, fall cleanups, doing the. I consider it the maintenance.
Yep.
The trimming of the shrubs, the stuff like that. That's.
Is mulching maintenance for you too?
I mean, I would consider mulching as maintenance. It's kind of a springtime.
Yeah.
Mostly springtime. Some people push it off until middle of summer or fall.
And do you do leaf pickups too at the end of the year?
Yep.
So, but those are those like kind of
maintenance.
requests, or are those like, hey, if I'm maintaining your lawn throughout the year, I just kind of add that in?
I would say 90% of them we just plan to do it.
Yeah.
There's certain places we know like there's not a lot of trees that leave leaves, so we just do a last mow. Yeah. And we don't really plan
just bag it up or whatever.
Full a full leaf cleanup, because we do have, we have a pretty cool setup for leaf cleanup. We have a big our dump truck, we have a big box on it with a big vacuum that goes on, and we've got one of our big mowers has a big like rake in the front of it that we can pile leaves up to the truck, and we can we suck everything into the truck, and we can haul just a ton of leaves. But yeah, scrolling through the pictures there, we got like everything is, I'm always looking for a different way to do things.
Are you
just the normal setup?
Are you particular on how things look? Or are you okay? Like, are you like so detailed to the point where it's almost like
I'm not OCD. I'm not OCD.
Okay,
things. No.
So it's kind of like good enough. I'll keep moving.
Yeah, I mean, I want when you walk away from the place and you turn around and you go, that looks good. Like
I would say this: like you turn around, you get
like,
the mulch, you get the lines, it's new. There's not like swept up.
The picture we're looking at right now, like that dead spot of grass on the side, like that's this whole property is a work in progress. This property is amazing, but like, I want you to walk away and see that nice edge of everything being trimmed. You want to see those nice the stripes. Like I love a striped lawn. Like that's. And
now the striped lawn, that you have a roller on the back. Is that how that works, or is it just based on just the pressure pushing down on the blades of grass?
It actually has nothing to do with pressure.
So how do you get the
So it's
lines? 'Cause I
lift.
always thought there was like you rolled something over like a baseball field.
It's lift. Well, so there are striper kits that if you lay the grass down,
Yep.
but there's the commercial mowers have so much lift in the blades, they pull the grass up, but they when you're going. So here's the thing: when you're going in the direction of the stripe, the light stripe is the direction you're going. The dark stripe is the one that's coming back. So it just to say it tips the ends of them.
Yeah.
Of the leaves. Grass is a leaf.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not so much putting pressure on the grass. You don't want to pressure. You don't want to put pressure on
I
your
guess you
lawn
should say
anymore
when
than you
pressure,
have
meaning
to.
the way you bend it towards
Yes.
like down or
Yep.
up or to the light or away from the light.
Yep.
No, I'm the same. I drive by and I see anything at time I see like lines. I think it's like anything else. You just stare at it. It's almost a traffic hazard if it's nice because people
be.
just like their heads are looking.
You look and you're like, well,
it's almost like someone pressure washing. I got a buddy that sends me pressure washing videos, and we'll send them back and forth that we see.
And you
them.
watch them cleaning
There's
off
something
the dirt
satisfying
coming
about
off, like,
exactly
yeah.
just pressure wash going
Yeah.
across. I'm like that's just amazing.
Yeah.
You watch till the job's done. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know why I just watched that for 2 minutes, but I did.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, and it's, I mean, a lot of it has to do with the grasses too, and how, how well the grass is taken care of. I mean, if you're cutting your lawn down like the golf course that you want to go play on,
mm-hmm.
you're not going to get that same effect on your lawn. You got to have a taller grass in order to make it
okay.
be more of that standout
But when
stripe.
you have like thin grass, and again, I'm going to go like take golf. They get lines on. I mean, these are nicer courses. You can see the lines on the
they
course.
have rollers.
So, but they cut it
Yes.
so short, and then they'll
Yes.
actually flatten it down.
Yes,
Just to get
they're
that
running
effect.
it lower to the rollers on the back kind of keep it, and the fairways, they want to keep them smooth anyways. So
Yep.
they're trying to get rid of that tire mark of the tractor that's towing the fairway mower. So you got to have those.
We see it like even like baseball fields when they just roll those things. It looks like someone like literally penciled it out.
Yep.
So the other thing I look at too, because this is mowing grass for me. Like I do think it's cool. Now, actually, this is one thing I'd ask you.
Yep.
If you're trying to get the lines, and I'm not even going to use the basketball pole here because we're just looking at a weird thing. If you have a tree that's in the middle,
Yeah.
can you continue on where you get the line where it looks like it's going through, or do you have to kind of like
You
weave
can
around?
do you
do you
can
try to
make
be
it-
artistic about
Yeah,
it?
you can kind of make it blend where you kind of think about which way you're going to go around the tree.
Okay.
So that way you're not trying to go
I knew you
backwards
guys
over
did
that
this.
stripe.
Okay.
So you kind of like, even though the chute may be blowing towards the tree,
Mm-hmm.
you may still want to go around that way. You just have to be like, okay, we got to go and blow the grass clippings out of that bed, or we got to.
I've always
or we
wondered-
you shut the mower off. Before you get to, you just click the blades off before you get there and go around it. Most times you can kind of make it blend to where, see, it's. There's definitely an art form to it. I would think. I mean, I've been doing this for. This is my 19th year.
It's almost like you don't think of it 'cause you've been doing it so long.
I don't. Yes, and so I got to kind of think about how did I do this. It's like, and like that piece of equipment we're pulling that's all dead grass from over the last summers of mowing. Like that's all.
So you're
that.
fluffing it up with that.
Yeah, you're pulling the thatch out of it. Yep. Yeah.
Is that now? I was going to say springtime. Is that a pretty popular thing?
It's not as popular as I would hope it would be. We kind of include that in as a spring cleanup.
Yeah.
And people don't really understand where you're getting all that grass from when you're raking all that out, and all of a sudden you got this big pile of like dead grass out of their lawn that looks halfway green and halfway, it's not alive yet. That lawn was done early in the spring. That's a Peru lawn, so that's
down
very
Bloomfield.
Yep.
Yeah, because I mean that's the thing I hate. I hate raking in the beginning. I hate raking. Period. But
I do
like
too. I don't like using a regular. I don't like using.
you don't use them, right? I mean, you have
no, we have equipment, but we
Yeah.
use them where we have to. But yes, yeah.
Now the other thing too, when I look at lawns, like obviously lawns, there's level of artistic ability, but I always find hedges. Like, do you find, or how hard is it to trim hedges like properly? Because we have a hedge at our house. This one-off guy, he did it for the people that we bought it from. He comes by every year, just like does a quick trim down it, and we have so many. He actually uses it as like his what would be the term?
Like his
maybe a model
promotional.
And it all, so he's been using this one. I don't know, maybe 15, 20 years at this property, and I always look at it, and after he gets done, I'm like, I don't know if I could do that. Obviously, I'm not in that field, but like, I've tried to trim stuff before, and when I get done trimming it, I just again lack of experience.
So-
but do you find that it's hard for hedges?
Over the years, like I'm trying to think where I even learned to trim hedges. I think I just started doing them. I got a big hedge around my house. Like I've had to, and I've, was just learning, not to cut too deep, not to be, on a cedar hedge. You can't cut into the branches because they'll never grow back. A lot of it is just taking your time with it and taking a little bit at a time. Mm-hmm. Unless you've been doing it for a while. I mean, I can step into that hedge and I can take a full first cut and be
you just know it
going through it. I know how far to go into it, and I can feel like, if you push the hedge trimmer against the branch, the like kind of the heel of it where the blades aren't, and you can kind of get that.
And this all has to be done.
Feeling.
This is by hand, right? I would say by hand, but you're holding the machine.
Oh yeah, you're holding the thing, which actually is. In the last year, because you're a Tesla guy and I'm not a battery guy, I've moved to using electric battery-powered hedge trimmers.
My weed whacker's electric.
Yeah.
I love it.
And the weed whacker stuff, because gas for us is just easier to fill a gas can up and put gas in something when we're use at Chattagay Lake.
Well, the batteries die quick.
Charging
too, right?
a battery that we got to put on. So, but when we're going to a hedge job, we know we're going to be there all day. We have enough batteries done up, and the electric hedge trimmers and stuff are lighter. They're not killing our shoulders as much as the big gas motor.
That's what I was going to ask. Because that like holding those things, like I get done weed whacking, it might only be like 15, 20 minutes. Yep. You can feel it in your hands.
Yeah, a lot of guys. If you talk to a lot of guys that are. I'm doing it's like shoulder issues
I believe it.
So looking for something lighter, like we went to electric because also we're working a lot of times up on scaffolding and or in a bucket, and to sit there and be pull starting a gas motor, stuff like that, it's a safety hazard, I think. So going electric, you just pull the trigger.
Yeah.
You just pick it up, it's light, you pull the trigger.
Also, I can for the life of me, if I had to, anytime I had a gas weed whacker, I didn't really do hedge trimming and stuff. I actually have a plug-in electric hedge trimmer. It's just a small thing.
I did that as a kid.
Yeah,
at our house in Champlain.
I mean, my level
run the
of
electric cord out.
My level of heavy equipment. I'm still a kid, so like I'm sitting there trimming, and it looks like shit. But it's like it gets to the point that it's like in front of the hedge, and like once or twice a summer, I just have to trim it back. But anytime I use a weed whacker and I had to put gas in it, just one of like the old stills that you'd like have to crank. It never started on the first time. Yeah. If I started it, it would be, I decided to do it every time. I looked up the brand, I had to watch a YouTube video every time.
Try to figure out what
the other thing I don't understand, and again, it's just maybe my own stupidity, but weed whackers, snow blowers, lawnmowers, all the dials are like up, left, turn. They have like there's nothing that actually says like on, off, start. Some of them have it, but I have one that says start and run. But when I go to start and I put it back to run, it shuts off.
Circle, line, they have but
they
don't have. It doesn't say push here for the start position, because if you don't use it every day.
Yeah, and then the other thing too is they'll put like they'll put like a sticker graphic.
Yeah, and
it literally could be hieroglyphic. It was like someone pulled it off a cave drawing.
Yeah,
it's like I'm like, I don't even know where that is on this machine. Instead, so I just feel like those machines can have better directions, because I would say most people in 2024 fall in my category more than your category. I think 50 years ago, 40 years ago, probably in our parents, grandparents' generation, they were just like second. They're like, I got it.
Well, I mean, everything nowadays with a lot of the kids coming up, simplicity is going to be the way to go, because they don't want to figure it out. They want to just grab it and be like, okay, this is on, and you just hold on and you go. They don't want to go, okay, well, I got to choke this much to start. Well, okay, it didn't start. Why didn't it start? Well, it's been sitting. Well, maybe I got to pull the carburetor off it and clean it. Like for me, I'm all right with that. I'm all right with messing with the stuff, but it just seems like a lot of it nowadays is people want that ease of direction of just grab and go and not have to worry about, well, did I put this away right? Mm-hmm. Did I going to the hedge trimmer stuff, you use them in the spring, you use them in the fall. You don't really use them sometimes they sit, so the gas in them goes,
Well, it's getting service stuff too. Like I can never remember, do I service in the winter or preseason or postseason?
Yep.
So same thing, like every fall or every spring, I'm like, do I get it done now or do I get? And then the other thing I never do, which is probably why.
Well, that is serviceability. It's being able to, like I said, do I need to bring my snowblower before winter? Do I bring it after winter? Do I, what's the
rule of thumb that you follow? I mean, or is your stuff just like it's pretty much? I mean, yeah, like say
put it in the shop, and forget about it, and then when I go to use it, and go, why won't this start?
So, figure it out.
Yeah,
so as long as you service it before kind of the season.
I mean, like right now, we're going to get ready to start pulling our mowers out of storage and starting, full oil changes. We clean them before we put them away. Like we'll pressure wash off all the old grass and build up. Mowers get cleaned and sharpened once a week, anyways. But before we put them away, they get a good
winterization,
real cleanup. We don't do the oil change and stuff till springtime.
Okay.
But that's kind of like, all your mowing stuff, do it before you have to go, before the grass starts turning green.
Okay.
Probably like, this month, March and the beginning of April is a good time for any kind of mower stuff.
So you could do it like in October, or you could do it in March.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, oil changes and things like that are definitely, you can do them whenever you want. There's some people that are like, well, you shouldn't let oil sit because it becomes acidic.
Okay.
Or something,
Does it get sludgy if it sits?
No, the sludginess is more from overuse and not changing. That's when you see a lot of sludge in something. Usually, it's because the oil just hasn't been changed and it's broken down and it's pulled all that stuff into the bottom of it. And, I don't have a lot of experience in that. I did do a couple years at Canton for Autotech, but didn't quite finish that one. But so I do have a little background in doing like the repair work on my stuff and things. I mean, I'm lucky. I got some awesome dealerships that like if I call samples and I say, hey, I got a mower down, Alan's like, oh, yep, bring it, or we got this that can get you through, or they've been amazing. Like ever since I've started, like I've been buying my mowers from Samples and Shazy. Bobcat and Plattsburgh does amazing with some of my bigger equipment. Like even some of the stuff that's not Bobcat branded, they've helped me get fixed and go through. And then,
what's your main brand? Bobcat, and is it still from?
Steel for all my. You say still, I say steel.
Steel. However you pronounce it. I don't know,
it's German.
Still pronounced with an IH, right?
Yeah. All my smaller handheld stuff is all steel. Mowers are Ferris, and still have some Toros, but we're kind of going more to all Ferris mowers.
Those things whip.
Yeah, they fly. Yeah,
is that just like commercial grade? Like
yeah. I mean, when you get into commercial stuff, there's just a night and day difference between. There's a night and day difference between even the mower you buy at Lowe's to the mower you go buy at a dealership.
Okay.
Like if you go and buy the 48-inch cut mower at Lowe's and you go buy the comparable one that's the Toro one they sell there, you go to Samples and buy the comparable one at Samples, there is a difference. And
substantial difference.
Yeah. And I mean it's definitely like the quality on the stuff that you get into this when you start getting into the commercial, or even that like they make like a mid grade of between homeowner and commercial now. Like those are getting better. Homeowner mowers, I consider them like throwaway mowers. You might use them once a week on your house, where I'm going, 40 properties in a week.
Yeah.
So we need to have something that's going to last for thousands of hours, not just 200, 300.
So when you look at like a commercial grade one, when they're going I've seen some of those. A guy, I think he told me, and correct me if this sounds wrong, I think he was doing 4 acres of his land in like about an hour.
So yeah,
it was a Ferris.
Yeah,
it was the fastest mower I've ever seen in my life. He went and backed it. I was like, and the thing just, it was like a zero turn kind of thing. And it just, he whipped. I don't know how fast. I think he said it could go 40, but I don't know if that's true.
No.
30, 25?
No. Probably.
How fast did he go?
11, 12 miles an hour.
No, it was going faster than that.
No.
That's all it goes.
Yeah. It looks like you're flying on those things. But
how fast is I should say this before so I have context. How fast does a normal mower go?
Maybe 5 or 6. A homeowner,
okay, so maybe that's why I look faster.
That's why, so you don't think about like
this thing. Look, I'm not exaggerating. Looked like he was like could have been driving this down the road.
Yes, and I mean that's when you go looking at the guy on the little John Deere homeowner, tractor that he's running around, and it's doing 5 or 6 miles an hour, then you see the guy go by with the zero turn doing 11 or 12. It is like a night and day difference.
That
It
must
does
have been
look
it.
like
That's wild. It's
it
all
does
the
look
going.
like you're flying. Yeah, yeah,
So that makes sense that you could do a property that
yeah.
big. in
Yeah,
about
they
that time?
claimed when I first got into Ferris, like the big thing they were claiming was like you could do like 6 acres in an hour. Well, 6 acres in an hour is like mowing
if it's like a
straight
football field. Yeah,
exactly,
yeah,
a football field.
exactly.
Not mowing around your trees and everything else. So yeah, I mean that's why we stay on the commercial stuff, and you can you're spinning around and getting in and out tight spots. And I mean, I don't know if you ever watched this when we were mowing the train station where we used to be, and we do
We used to have the stand-up ones.
Yeah.
So what? Yeah. So talk about. I was going to ask you about that later, but what's the difference with the stand-up ones? Just purely you stand up? Is it different quality, or is it easier to maneuver?
Maneuverability.
Basically, so people don't know, it kind of looks like a Segway.
Yeah.
A mower Segway.
Yeah. Yeah,
They're,
it's like
they're slick.
Yeah, they just put there's a platform on the back of them instead of having a seat, and the motor's up in front of you. And we've actually gone to running stand-on mowers like kind of strictly as our what's on our trailer.
That's your go-to?
Yeah, our big mower for doing cleanups is a zero turn because we've got the big bagger system on the back of it. But on and off the trailer, we can fit on a shorter trailer we can fit more. So right now we run 3 mowers on a trailer. Those things, you hop on the back of them, I feel like you're more stable, even though you're standing up. People are like, "Oh, it must kill your back." No, I feel more comfortable standing on some of these mowers than I do sitting on my zero turn.
Oh, I feel it could be better for you.
Yeah,
Versus sitting, standing.
Offices now they're pushing you to stand to work.
Oh yeah, sitting's terrible. I mean, we sit for podcast. I mean, I'd love to stand for podcasts.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm alright with sitting. I like sitting with a lady. Yeah. But no, I'm big on my guys of like, don't run over garbage. You see something in a yard, stop and pick it up.
Yeah.
Your
kid's toy or dog toy or something.
So you got much better visibility, and you stop. You just step off the back.
Does it just stop as soon as you step off and step on?
Yeah, most of them. There's a safety switch on the platform, or
Yep.
there's what they call a dead man on your 2 levers that run it, because you still run 2 levers like a.
But it doesn't shut off.
Like a
You
zero
still kinda
turn.
keep it-
It'll stay running.
Yeah,
It just shuts your blades off and
Yeah.
keeps them moving. But you can get up, grab that piece of garbage, grab a stick, do whatever. You're not opening up the handles. I'm here motioning with my hands.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
everybody can. So
They can
handles
hear-
and-
they can hear that motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you and you get up. You're getting up out of the chair, out of the seat, and crawling off the mower. It's just I find it just way easier to run the stand-ons. And there's other guys that will not run a stand-on. They just don't feel comfortable on them. Like
So you were the first person I ever saw use one. So is that like a newer thing, or they've been around for a while?
No, they're newer.
Okay.
I don't even know what would have been the first ones, but probably 5-6 years now they've become, came in and started getting, I look at time frames sometimes, I'm like 5-6 years, maybe it was actually like
I know.
2017 or 18.
Yeah.
I
was gonna say
we're in 24 now.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. That's what you just said when you said 2020. I'm like, like 2 years ago. I'm like, no, it's not.
No. That was the wrong one. 2000.
Regarding again, I'm kind of going through photos here. How often do you put sod down?
So sod's kind of one of those things where you got to have a customer that really wants to do it.
Okay.
I can get grass growing in a couple weeks. We do sod in places where it's like they're going to have traffic, we're going to have traffic of like animals or things. A lot of people want to put sod down because they say, oh, it's instant.
Yeah.
I will never tell anybody, I won't tell anybody I don't want to do sod, because I will. I'll put it down. It's a lot of,
It's more labor intensive.
Here, look at that picture. You got guys on their hands and knees,
Yeah.
rolling rolls of sod out and thing. But you still got to get the sod to grow into the soil. You still got to get that to root in there. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not a. You can't put it down and it's just not going to.
Yeah,
move.
it's not a carpet.
You still got to put a ton of water to it. That's a big thing with sod is you gotta immediately, once it's on the ground, just start putting the water to it. And it just depends where, what people want. I give my customers my opinion. If they really want something. I know when a customer is like really set on the way, I give my opinion as best as possible and, thing. But sod is kind of one of those it's a lot more money to put sod down too than just putting topsoil and grass seed.
I want to come back to topsoil and grass seed and all that good stuff in a sec. But
That's fine.
in your business, how often? Because I ask this a lot to people that are, especially in service industries. How often do you? So someone hires you, typically for some level of expertise in what you do, and you tell them what to do. How often, percentage of the time, do they challenge what you tell them to do? Either disagree, tell you to do something different, tell you how to... Basically, how often do people tell you how to do your job?
I don't work for those people.
Okay, well, that was actually a great question.
I mean,
answer,
no,
but yeah.
it's and I say that, I shouldn't say
I'm
that.
sure
I mean,
you less now than you used to.
I've learned over the years that if somebody wants to tell me how to do my job, why am I there doing it?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you're just looking for somebody to just come do labor for you. That's not why I'm doing this. I mean, I do this because I know what I'm doing. I'm going to make myself sound like but I've been doing this for, for, like I said, for 19, going to my 19th season of doing this. Like, I'm going there because you're calling me because hopefully you want my expertise, my knowledge, not, I've had customers that have really good ideas and really, have been in, like, say they're structural engineers or they're, things. I mean, I worked for, one of the guys I worked for, I still take care of his old house was Larry Jeffords.
Yeah.
And he, like, used to go out. He would ask me to come and do stuff, but he would go out. He was the guy that would make sure the weed control was done on his lawns. He made sure everything, and like, if he gave me an idea, like, he's the guy that you go, okay, we should look at this idea because
he was a smart
because
man.
If he was telling you something, he probably had researched it enough or knew in his past that this is the way something worked. But I've had people come to me and like, well, you're going to tear my lawn up doing that. I'm like, no, I'm not going to tear your lawn, like with the mowers. No, I'm not going to tear. Well, you're leaving tire marks. Well, no, I'm not leaving tire marks. I'm leaving your grass shows a track of where the mower went, but there's no, because
it's not rutted down.
We're not rutting it.
Yeah,
It's like, I've had people just, be like, well, why are you using that piece of equipment here? Well, because that's the piece of equipment that I know is going to work to do this. So
you do get it.
Yeah. No, but but also it's like trying to give somebody, your knowledge, as to why you want to do something, can be a little bit challenging. Because I know in my head how I can do something, but to actually lay it out to get them to understand it, because I've been in the business long enough that it's just everyday thing. So
this is the I'm going to speak kind of from a real estate standpoint. I'm the same way. Like I'm very big on, and I'm going to say like listing someone's home. I want to go to the house. I'm going to ask you questions. I want to know your timing. I want to know your financing situation. I want to know what you value. I want like all this stuff. Like give me everything you know. And a lot of it, because then you get some people like, well, I brought you for that. I'm like, yes, but I have to put basically my work, I have to put in the context of the parameters you're setting. Because I look at it, I'm like, if you just want me to sell your house, like sign here, just let me do my thing. Yeah. But I said it doesn't work like that because also, there's a level of in our business, a level of education on, hey, I'm going to show you ways that you can get your house ready. And this is not people being like, the thing in our business, it's a very psychological business. People buy on. There's a lot of psychology in buying, just in general.
Yep.
And when you look at that and you tie it into a home, which has money and has your home, so you have two big things that are very important to people. So it's your personal residence, typically, and money. Both of those have high emotional levels. So a lot of it is kind of letting people drop that emotional guard and kind of try to look at things as a very non-biased, objective view, knowing there's a lot of bias in that. And you're meaning like if I'm telling you, listen, you can't have an emotional. I don't say this exactly, but like. It's like almost like you can't look at this from a homeowner. I own this. This is something that I value. That's where I raised my kid. That's where, all this stuff. So, no offense.
You have to separate the emotional.
You got to separate because nobody cares. They're walking in. They don't care that you redid the floors 10 years. They're looking at how does the floor look today.
Yep.
And the idea is not to downplay someone's emotional attachment to a home because I mean, you have an attachment to your house. I have an attachment to my house. Just I mean, there's a lot of emotional things because of family. But at the end of the day, you have to take that into consideration when you're working with a client or a person. But the idea behind it is I always tell people it's very, very, very simple to sell your house, and I will sell your house the 100% best way to sell it. But as soon as you start putting in the money you want, the time frame you want, what has to happen, this I'm not going to do, this I will do, then it's like, okay, now I have to basically take the perfect scenario, meaning it's almost like scheduling your perfect week of all your dispatching.
Yeah.
And I know as soon as you start talking as a seller, most of it I'm going to have to start making compromises on what I think is the best play of action based on your inputs. Doesn't mean that your inputs are bad, but I'm like, we got to make compromises because we can't hit all those boxes and be able to do this.
Well, and that's and I look at it the same way. It's like I want your input for what you want done at your property. But sometimes your input, like I may know, like, oh, you want that plant. Well, that plant's not made for being on the north side of your house. It's never going to see any sunlight.
Oh yeah.
That plant needs to be on the south side, which I can make that fit in over here. So you still get what you want.
Yeah.
Just not probably in the same location, but
you'll get it longer too.
Well, yeah,
make it more than a season.
It's not going to be dead in a season. So or I can go, hey, that's one of the big things I'm starting to get into is plants more and more. It's just weird. I never thought I'd be enjoying going shopping for flowers, but
plants are cool.
Plants are definitely cool. Like when you start looking at the different stuff, and I don't know names and whatever, but I just go and I'm like, oh, what does that do? Go look at the tag, be like, okay, this can work in this situation. Yeah. Oh, I've used this one over here. I know it'll work there.
And there's an artistic of like what fits in and what it blooms and when it blooms.
So that's one of when you're talking about bloom. Like people want a colorful landscape. Well, they don't want a colorful landscape just in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
They want a colorful landscape that's going to start from the time snow's melting to the time that we see the leaves dropped, and and that's when you're trying to play that game of figuring out what works where, and people are like, well, we want this. Well, I can get you this that'll have the same colors. Yeah. But it may start in late April, early May, and last until July, and then in July, this one that you want will pop up, or stuff like that. That's and I feel like a lot of that is part of my experience of seeing a lot of properties. I mean, when I say we take care of 40 to 50 properties, but we've seen a lot of properties over the years.
I think the other side of the coin there too is when you look at I mean, you kind of said it, like I'm asking you questions and I can see you like having to think it because it's like second nature to you where you're like, oh, God, how do I do that? Because I'm the same way. There's times I go in and I'm like, honestly, I don't know. I just know that that's the right thing. It's hard to put into words, but I'm like, I just feel like don't do this or don't do that.
Or you walk in, you see a customer and they're like, they've got this place, this set up like, instead of using a living room as their living room, they've got it set up as, an office. And you're like, well, you really need to try to set this house up as this is the living room, because the next guy that's coming in here is not going to use this as an office. Stuff like that, where you're trying to come into that house and you're like, you don't want to tell them what to do, but you need to tell them what to do. So
well, that's always something I do. I want to make sure that I'm telling them the correct thing, and then it's like it's up to you. You have the final say. You're the homeowner, but I got to make sure that I'm at least telling you the right thing and not just sugarcoating it because I don't want to piss you off. I don't want to not make you upset about something.
Well, and that's the thing for me is like I want to leave a property. I mean, I've been doing this long enough. I've had people that have definitely not been happy with the way I've done things or whatever. And the big thing is I want people to walk out in their lawn and be happy and love like the way their place looks. But I want to get there and I want to do things the right way. And sometimes the right way does not always make them happy. Or when you start digging into something and all of a sudden it's like, oh, we got to dig more. We found an issue here or there. People don't always love that.
So when you look at What's the best? What's your favorite? If you said, "Hey, listen, if you really want," I'm just looking at a landscaping photo here.
Yep.
So you got like some pavers down. Looks like some rivers. What do they call them? River rocks? Is that
Yeah,
the-
it's like a wash stone, or like a river stone's a round smooth stone. Or,
Yeah. Is there
Yep.
like a preference where you're like you should have mulch, you should have rock, you should have pavers, you should have like? Is there? Do you do stamped concrete at all?
So no, I don't. Like I push it to some other guys to do the stamped concrete stuff.
But you'll
You
do
know,
like pavers and.
Yeah, I'll do pavers. I kind of pick and choose the paver work that I do. Pavers time consuming.
Yeah.
And to do it right.
Don't you have to go and like stamp underneath and put the pavers down and put all like the little
there's
fine
there's
stuff?
steps. There's
Yeah.
and there again,
It's not as simple as just
depending
go lay
on-
rocks down.
And it all depends on what kind of soil you're working on and what's been under there, or has it been disturbed or not disturbed. Like what's the thing? So like when you're getting into like going back to the stone versus the mulch.
I should say this, Andy. What's the best thing to do? Obviously, people have personal preference, but like if you said this really is the best way to do whatever, in your opinion, what would that be?
I don't think there's a best way for it's goes by each property. Because like if you I want longevity. Well, if you want longevity, go with stone.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna do all your beds and you don't ever want to, there's nothing that ever is no maintenance. There's how do I say that without it being a double negative or whatever? But but there's
weeds are gonna
there's
grow,
nothing
things
that
are
you
gonna-
can do
yeah.
that is not because how come you're not going to put the weed mat under there? Because like when I do a lot of mulch work, we do 3-4 inches thick of mulch and we don't do weed mat. And everybody's like, well, why aren't you putting weed mat? It's because even if I put weed mat, that weed seed that is going to come out of your lawn or come from your neighbors is going to end up on top of that mulch. And there's enough organic material in that mulch that's going to start growing on the mulch and grow down through the weed mat. And then when you're going to go pull that weed, you're going to pull and it's going to pull the weed mat up and your mulch is going to go everywhere. Where if you just let it grow down through the mulch and go grab it, pull it out, it's just going to pull out the dirt.
So
And it's not going to make.
So you think
it's
not putting
it makes it maintenance. I would consider maintenance easier, but you also have to stay on the maintenance of it.
So you wouldn't put like the mat underneath. You're again
On mulch. If
Okay.
I'm doing stone, I won't do stone without putting a mat under.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because give away all my tricks. No, it's
No,
not
it's
really
fine.
a trick, but it's
This is what I always
you
say
know,
with,
it's
like-
kind of one of those things like if you're putting stone down, stone could work its way down into the dirt. And so if you put the weed, I always figure putting that mat underneath, you're keeping a bridge under that stone to keep the stone up, and you can keep it a little fresher. You can kind of blow out easier with your leaf blower, or you can go through and we wash the stone after. Every time we put stone down, we take a hose and we wash it to get all the sands and stuff from the quarries.
Is that the best way to keep it just maintained? Just take a hose to it?
Well, I mean, you can. A lot
makes
of
sense,
people
though.
don't like using, weed killers and stuff because everything wants to kill you nowadays. But either putting some sort of a weed killer in it.
Yeah.
One of the big things is I can't put weed killer down on your property.
Like legally or
Legally,
insurance-wise?
I cannot put weed killer down on your property.
Got it.
I don't have the certification from New York State for.
Wow.
You can walk into the store, go grab a bottle of Roundup, and go to your property. I can't go grab a bottle of Roundup and go to your property and put it down.
Wow.
If
Like Andrew homeowner, you're putting Roundup, no problem.
yeah.
But, wow,
you
that's
can
crazy.
you can carry materials that are. Yeah, we have. There's a couple guys around here. There's a very short list of people that are actually legal, certified to license to do.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh yeah, that's
wild.
And I mean,
I thought
you see-
over the counter. I say over the counter, but stuff you go buy at Lowe's or Ace or
Yep.
something.
No, and the Ace's bag of weed and feed. It's got weed control and it's got fertilizers in it. Well, I can put fertilizer down your lawn. I can go do that, but as soon as they put the weed control in it, the pre-amargrit or the herbicides, you're going into that realm of needing to have your licensing through DEC.
Do people want specific type of mulch or stone, or is it like just color or kind of like in stone? Obviously, there's the texture more, but
Yeah, you start. I mean, get people that are like, well, I want white stone. Well, you can't get white stone around here unless you buy it by bags. And white stone, I think, is like 1990s. You know,
It's on the
Miami Vice color.
We have it at the beginning of my well, the people we bought the house for are great people, but there's some stuff that was just like,
Yeah.
you know, had to be kind of. And one of the things we've never have ever changed is the stone. And that same thing. I look at it.
You're like,
kids, dog, they all go in the grass. And
yeah.
I'm not.
Yep.
I like the stone. It's not as much maintenance, but it looks like
Yep.
crap.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, for our lifestyle.
Yeah. So, you know, there's and it all goes on trends of like, you know, for a while we were doing a lot of like a red stone that came out of like Potsdam. And,
Oh, yeah, sandstone kinda?
Yeah, it was like and the quarry, whichever name it's been
Upstone?
from, Upstone now, and you know, the time I was buying it from, I think it was Graymont. And,
Yeah, great, yeah.
and I don't know if it was something else before that, I can't remember, but they would get it out of their Potsdam thing, but it was like limited supply, and certain people had to have that. And you're like, well, you know, I can put a brownstone in here and it'll still look, you know, the stuff from those.
Is that your best? Sorry, I mean, this is people can't see this, but this one stopped me in my truck. I know the house,
Yeah.
but that's
Yeah, that's a property I don't take care of anymore. So,
that's nice lines though.
I know. That's
When you get done something like
so
that,
actually,
is that like
so-
is that like a good day? You can see that.
So I don't. Do you know Dylan Carter?
I know of him.
So when he was working for me before he became he's the phys ed teacher at Beekmantown for the, I think, grade school.
Okay.
And he used to, that was his like prime wanting to make a place look good. That's his mowing
He did a great job.
there. He used to do like, so now
That's pretty.
over the years we have like, the guys always have like a competition of, once they figure out how to do stripes, of like who can do the better stripes. So
Yeah.
they'll take pictures and send them to each other. So that used to be a big thing, was like, you know, they would
That's
try to
nice.
get the best stripes. So he used to do a really, really good job with that property and those, and seeing the different angle, like, you know, the curve, and then you see the old stripe, like that was probably last week's stripe going from, you know,
So you guys will cut different
east
just to
to
get
west.
the look.
yeah. So
That's so.
well,
cool.
it's also healthier for the lawn.
Oh, yeah, I have heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. So don't.
Okay.
So certain places you cannot get away from cutting in the same direction, you know. But if you keep cutting the same direction every time, the same, running over the same spots, you will end up with ruts in your lawn. Like, you'll end up where the tires will just make that track. Where if you go and keep changing, we go in 45s is what we try to do.
Okay.
So
you just keep
45
sharpening it?
different, yep, and just keep turning yourself every week.
Yep.
Certain places you have to just mow east, west, or north, south.
Yeah.
It's just doesn't work. Excuse me. But it's kind of like you do that to try to not beat down the lawn the same way every time, because you'll end up with those ruts, and then you go to mow. Like, I've came on properties, you know, where we try to change the direction because we just picked up that property that year, and all of a sudden you feel like you're on a motocross track trying to go across the lawn crossways where it was mowed, you know, say back and forth the time before. So, and it's just you know, compaction of the soil. You're trying not to compact the soil the same way all the time, because the looser you can leave the soil underneath, the more oxygen you get to the grass. And,
So I heard this too, and I don't know if this is true or not. When you cut grass, you're only supposed to cut like a third of the grass. Like, some people like typically cut too much or go too low.
Yep. So, you know, a lot of times when you see like you're letting a lawn grow for, you know, oh, I'm just going to cut it really short this week, but I'm going to let it grow. I'm going to cut it really short, and you're taking 2-3 inches off I think that is so bad for the lawn.
Is it because it gets burnt out, or does it hurt the roots? Or
It's,
probably
you know,
both.
well, I mean, grass is a leaf, so your leaf is. My biology is horrible, so I can't really. But you know, the
Photosynthesis?
Yes. So your photosynthesis with the leaf, you know, you want as much leaf there to get as much nutrients to, you know, get to the roots. And the taller you leave your grass, the deeper your root goes too. Like, if you ever let a lawn grow, you know, if you let it grow, your root. I mean, if you let it grow 2 feet, your root's not going to go 2 feet down to the ground. But, you know, we cut all of our mowers are at 4 and 4.5 inches. Like, we keep it
that's
tall.
pretty high.
But you walk across and lawns like lush. You know,
Yeah.
It's not like if you go bare feet across it, you're not, you know, getting that prickly shortcut grass of.
We have again. I have
No, it's 3 3/4 now is where we're at.
But I mean, that's pretty high. So
I can never remember now.
when you so on the mower, when you have like the little guard on the side and you have
Yep.
like the numbers,
Yep.
that's in inches, right? Typically, or is
Not
that,
all of them.
or is that like a toaster where you're
That's like your- oh,
you know the
like your
toaster where
number
it's like
1,
1, 2, 3,
3, yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not the toastiness and
Yes.
it's like the minute.
Yeah.
It's something
no,
weird.
it's,
Yeah.
yeah. A lot of them, that's just your number of like, okay, I've got it set where I want it to be. I'm always going on number 2.
So it doesn't actually calculate.
So
to
on
like,
the big mowers, we are set in inches.
Okay.
And it gives you like on our big commercial mowers, like we have a 1/4 inch increment for every place we pull the pin
wow.
to change.
So it's precise.
Yeah, so we can, as precise as you want to be on a lawn. I mean,
But I'm saying
the
more
guy-
than like 1, 2, 3, and you're just
Yep.
kind of like jamming
Yep.
it up. I'm like,
Yep.
I'll just go a little higher today
Yep.
because whatever.
Yep. And one of my big things I stick by, and I've lost properties over it, is I won't change my mowers. I do not pull a pin and raise and lower a mower for a customer.
Oh, because they
And-
want it higher and lower in certain spots?
Yep.
Really? Well,
Yep.
what would be the reason
Yep.
they'd want that?
Some people are on they want it's more for people wanting to go lower than it is for the people that want a taller. A lot of people just want that, like, I mean, I love my father, but he wants that golf course short right to the ground look. He doesn't want a long, lush lawn. So, some people feel that long, fluffy lawn either grows faster or just doesn't look as kept. But once you've mowed it at that height for a couple mowings, you don't ever notice it's growing any faster than what that guy that had the
So
short
when
lawn.
you say lower the pin, you're talking about for like just the lawn in general. Not like midway through the lawn you drop it to have a
No.
short. Okay.
Yes, we're
so you're
talking
saying
about
like
when
this
we're
is
coming
the,
onto the property.
like this is the height you need to
Yep.
have this lawn
Yep.
at.
Because
Gotcha.
the other thing that we've done too is we forgot to re-raise. Because I've had an issue in the past where I forgot to re-raise the deck going along and I scalp that first cut.
Gotcha.
And you're like, oh. So then a lawn will grow back.
Yeah.
But you don't want to have that look of that one,
Yeah.
short run.
And you start fading it back
yeah,
up,
you
right?
start, yeah, it's like a
Little
haircut
banks.
fade.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's like you're trying to keep everybody kind of uniform. And
Yeah.
I mean, most people kind of over the years, a lot of people knew the lawns we were doing because of the stripes and stuff. Now a lot of guys are striping, so we don't have that kind of.
Doesn't pop as much.
I mean, it's still.
I think they look good.
I think a lot of our places still pop pretty good, but.
Now regarding mulch, is there like a more popular color, or do you have what's your favorite color mulch?
I'm on a brown kick right now.
You like brown, so like
Yeah,
this kind of
brown
brown,
cedar.
or
Yep,
like this
yeah.
brown.
And I was always a pusher of doing hemlock because hemlock was natural.
What color is that?
It's
brownish?
brownish red.
Okay.
But now we've moved to more like a brown cedar because the dyes, I think.
Which is this right here, brown cedar?
No, that's not my favorite color.
Okay.
So that's a red. Those are commercial properties. Sometimes are tough because like they have stipulations of hey, it's got to be a red. I called it McDonald's mulch.
Okay.
Or like where on a lot of the places that are privately owned, you can just make your choice of what goes best with the building. The brown stuff, I don't know. I think brown goes good with a lot of our properties. Black has been popular.
Black's
but,
my favorite. I love black.
Well, black has to be on a certain property. I mean,
See, let me see if I can find it. This is what I did back in the day. You can critique this as much as you'd like.
I would never critique
Oh,
something.
no, you will. It actually didn't look bad. I didn't know what I was doing. This is our old house. Let me see if I can. Oh, shoot. Come on, give me some outdoor photos. We got
I thought you were a real estate guy that could actually take good pictures of stuff.
I don't no, but this might not even be ours. No, I did list this one.
Did you? Yeah.
Well, what happened was I sold it, and then we ended up selling it. I sold it to a new person. It sold
Yep.
like 3 times in like 3 years. So you can kind of see the black here.
Yeah. Yeah, that looks fine.
So that one
you
popped.
got, and that's a kind of an off-color house. It's not it's not a white house or
My current house, there's no way that you could do.
a black mulch or a,
You could do it.
You can do whatever.
I don't think
anybody can do whatever color they want. Some people have a different taste of how things look. Like I would do.
So this is perfect. So this hasn't changed. The roof's different. We put a new roof on, but this right here, I got these 3 hedges that suck. Mm-hmm. I hate them. Hate the hedges. This right here is all that white stone.
Yep.
They have no mulch, and they didn't want mulch. Like my idea is like this whole front thing, I think could be mulched all the way in front of this. And
I've already looked at you tear those out. You put like a nice hydrangea in the center of the porch, so you can still see the railings of the porch, and then probably put something low lying under the tree or under the window, but then do something that'll actually, you don't want to go too tall, but do something to come up the corners of the house to kind of like bring your roof line.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Do like
one of those taller stands.
Yeah, little taller shrubs or something that'll just kind of grow up the side. It cuts down the amount of siding that you're looking at. I mean, not that I like to break up the amount of siding you see on a place without covering it.
See, this is the stuff like like you just talking about that. Like if I was to look at my house, I wouldn't even have thought about that with the side. But I'm saying like that. But the idea, like when you have someone that my head, I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I just think these look like garbage.
I would take those out. Those don't fit into the house.
They're dying, and I don't know why they're there. But
there's like some yews that probably are just been there for.
Well, the problem is those things would have to be like, really dug out of the ground. But this
not a very big root base on those.
Oh, really? Okay, that's good to know. Yeah. I mean, I'm not. Yeah. Yep. This might be a future project for you here, Andrew. But this.
Hey, call me.
This.
So you know how to get hold of
this. I do. This. But yeah, that's like. Yeah. What the one thing we've always lacked here, and I mean this was before we owned it, but this is and then like we got this space here that goes right into this patio.
So and like on the edge of the house, like we have that there's a walkway there, right?
The walkway goes back to the back garage.
I mean, that's like you got to think about foot traffic. Like, are the kids going to be walking off the side of the footpath, or are they going to stay on? They never do. So you would probably do a nicer crushed stone in there. I mean, you could do a nicer stone than the white stone and make it look good because you got a light colored house. You can do kind of anything you want to do with it other than white.
Do you pressure wash?
Nope. Okay. BM Specialty Waterworks.
Okay.
Bruce Musso.
No, that's fine because I was.
He's the only one that I use. I mean, he's been doing it for a while, and that's
me and my wife. Like we're finally at the stage in our life where we're like, you know what, we can not fully, like especially not the inside with the kids, but I'm like, there's some stuff. I'm like, you know what, I think now's the time we can like improve some of the outdoor maintenance stuff. So,
well, that's one thing. A lot of people don't keep their house itself clean. Like
you talk about the inside or outside?
No, the outside. Like it's I mean, you want to keep your inside. Everybody thinks about keeping their inside clean all the time, but washing the outside of the house it's amazing. Like because I've him come in to clean places sometimes and. Like how much brighter the house, the siding all of a sudden is, and you're like, whoa! Like that makes the landscape look different.
Especially
it makes
the vinyl because dirt just kind of like grows into that, and once you go through it, it just like pops right out.
Because all that vinyl's got a little bit of texture to it, that kind of everything, and if it's on the north side that never gets any sun, it starts building all that mold and mildew. But it's definitely the outside cleanliness of the home, like keeping shrubs away from the house. One thing that we always do, and some people are like, well, you're flattening the backside of my shrub. Well, yeah. Do you want me to flatten the backside of your shrub because I'm trimming it away from your house, or do you want it to keep rubbing against your siding and have to change your siding in a few years?
But you can't see that.
No, but the homeowner walking out. Yeah, the curb appeal from the neighbor. No, you probably don't see it. But the homeowner coming out and being like, oh, like why is the backside of my shrub flat? Well. What do you want to do? Do you want to have a shrub that it looks good shaped on the front side, but it's been rubbing against your house, and now you got to replace
or you stick it out another 3-4 feet and it looks weird. Like say you get the roundness, but looks out of place.
Well, and that's when you're planning on landscape. Like I'm not a landscape designer where you can go sit down and I can draw you a picture and do that. I don't. Everything 99% of the time is in my head. Like I can't do those drawings that you just pulled up,
like that right there.
Yeah.
Those are almost like kind of like CAD drawings for.
Well, and what I find is with the CAD drawings and with because there's companies that you can be like, hey, here's a picture of my house. Give me a drawing of plants that should be here. Most of them don't understand plant growth, how tall something, how wide something's going to get, root base. You see a lot of people with, they love white birches, and they plant a white birch next to a house. Well, where's those roots going? Because the roots go out as far as the drip edge of the tree.
Okay.
So where your trees hang out. So you got to think about that. A lot of the evergreen stuff doesn't grow to a big wide root base, but
Do you do a lot with rock? Just like big stones?
no, not as much as I would probably love to do some more of that stuff. It just doesn't come about in the landscapes that I've done. We worked this summer with a guy. He actually owns a landscape company out of Malone, and we've been up on Chateauguay Lake doing a beautiful landscape job up there, and he did all natural stone.
Mm-hmm. So it was already on the lot, or did you just move it, or was it already in?
No, it was brought in. It was
Okay.
a lot of big quarry stone, big natural boulders and stuff, and he did these big terraces. The pictures of where I said the grass was dead below, where where we had that nice walkway, all the natural stone. He had done all that and all the stacking, and it's like
so
a
that
game
was like
of Jenga.
pre-laid out, and then you went through and kind of
I
filled
went
in?
through and did. I've been doing all the what I call softscape. I've been doing all the plants,
Kind of
and
like
all
the finishing work of it.
the mulch, and putting in the irrigation and all that stuff. And
Do you do raised stuff like this?
the tiering, I've only done a couple little things like that. Some with like using pressure treated lumber and things. But there's a science to doing anything that's got a tier to it, because you got to be able to hold the soil back.
Yeah,
So you got to be able to have so much step back on your retaining wall. It's all stuff that's in my head. Just some of it. Like,
yeah, that's cool.
it's
something to look. It's like anybody that has like landscaping done, again from a real estate perspective, like the amount that landscaping like just ties into the property. Because you see houses that are just like spec homes put up and they're just like bare, and then all of a sudden if you added landscaping, like, oh shit, that looks amazing. And it's just crazy how like a little bit of mulch, a little bit of greens, rock, whatever, pavers, it just kind of ties everything in.
I'm on the page of where you can build the most beautiful house, with full of windows and whatever, but if there's nothing in front of it
Yeah.
to kind of break your eye up, like it's not finished. There's places you drive by and it's like, man, like they put this nice house up, but then they got a great lawn, but there's no plants, there's nothing, there's no color, there's nothing to kind of finish. It's I like to say we're coming in and we're finishing that property for people. We're making it kind of complete.
I got a question for you too, and this is a semi-personal question about my lawn here. So when you so our lawn's all sand. But now I don't know if I'm going to do this at this property, but I've always wanted, because I think the only way you can grow grass there is some type of irrigation system. Is that, you think that's true, or is there a workaround? Because the problem is, for the life of me, I'm like, you know what? I've put seed down, I've put dirt down, I've put not like good like clay dirt or whatever. I've not, because I know some people like. I think
you can top dress, or you can go in and
they put clay on top of it. I've seen, or I've heard of that. I have not looked extensively into it, but I wouldn't want to do that unless I had probably some irrigation just to keep it going. Because we're in a sand pit. Like you go down the lawn, middle of the summer. When I say middle of the summer, I'm saying pre 4th of July.
You're already
burnt
burnt.
grass.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you're draining off. You're draining whatever moisture is coming is immediately draining down through. It's not retaining any of that moisture. That's where an irrigation system comes in. You don't have to get crazy with irrigation systems. The one we just did for property, like I can pull it up.
So you do the irrigation?
Yeah, we're getting into.
Because I'll tell you right now,
we've been touching bases with it for a little while, and now we're trying to get a little more into that, because there's, the other guy that does it around here has been doing it for years, and he's very, very good at it. But I think there's still a market for more.
Well, the reason I say is because there's three streets in our like little area. Mm-hmm. Any street that has green grass, any of them has some type of irrigation, and same thing. Kind of the nicer lawns, but they all have something. They all have the little sprinklers that come up and they sprinkle the water. Yep. I went out for one summer, hoses, sprinklers, had the whole thing. It was terrible. and all it did, it greened up the grass that had not died yet.
Yep.
So it didn't grow anything.
So the other thing is the grass you have in there. So there's more drought, or like I say drought resilient, but there's like we've been going to, everybody wants that Kentucky bluegrass. That's always the name of everybody.
Can that
wants.
grow here?
Kentucky blue?
Climate-wise?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it does. It grows really good in like clay soils and stuff like that. But we've been moving more to tall fescues, creeping red fescues, engineered grasses. Right now we're using an engineered grass from, I think it was engineered by like the University of Oregon or something. Like
and that can withstand.
It's made to withstand more drought. It's made to have the deeper the root base, the better. The longer, because of course, the deeper the root, more moisture to hold.
Okay. Which is why another reason to cut your grass longer.
Yep.
Or keep it longer.
Yep. So like if you see the guy that's cutting, I mean, that's one of the reasons why some people cut their stuff real short. They don't want to mow it in the middle of summer. They want it to die. They want it to be. And
that's kind of me. I got to the point now. I'm like, screw it. It's going to die. So might as well.
Well, and that's not. Everybody says that's dead grass. It's not dead grass. It's dormant grass. It's like it's your grass. If your grass turns brown because it's dry, it doesn't technically die. It goes dormant.
Okay.
Because if you start watering it, a lot of times that comes back.
Hey, look at that.
Oh yeah.
If I had a lot of grass like that, I'd be a happy customer.
That's somebody that's definitely put a lot of time in. Probably irrigation, probably some good, what's the word I want to call it? Fertilizers and weed control. And that's the other thing. A taller grass will keep the weeds down too. Because the grass will actually shade.
So if nothing else from all this talk, people just leave your grass longer.
Longer, yeah. So I did when I first got into this, I did a couple weeks, probably 7 weeks course with Cornell Cooperative.
Okay.
And it was a lawn care and something like hardscapes or something. It was a you got a certificate from Cornell for it. That's when I first got into thing. And the big thing that they preach is longer grass. Keeping that, it's I think it's 2.5 to 4.5 inches is kind of the stipulation they give you.
I just want to look at a golf course.
Course.
That's it. That's
yeah. And that's, but all the golf courses are all irrigated. Most of them. The real nice golf courses are irrigated. Like, but the sports fields are irrigated. But keeping your grass long is just it just makes it so much more healthy.
Last thing I want to talk about, because I want to get into the RCs racing here. I don't even know if we. I don't even know if we like. You can give the long story or short story, but how did you get into landscaping? I feel like I should have asked you that.
I have a buddy. Every time I look at him, I said, "This is all your fault." So, previously before this, I did 12 years at Wyeth/Pfizer.
Right in Ross Point.
Yeah, because I had done. I can give you a little bit of history where when I graduated high school, I went to Canton for 2 years and I didn't do so well. I did good. I did all right for the first 3 semesters. The last semester, I don't know. I think I left there with a 0.45 or something like that. Oh yeah, something bad. It was really bad. And I was there for auto tech.
Okay.
Well, what I learned when I was up there, I was like, I don't want to work on other people's junk. I went up there because I was like, I was into cars and I was into performance stuff and things like that, and that's what I thought more I want to do. But I was like, I don't want to work on other people's stuff. I like working on my own stuff.
Yeah,
but,
it's like a hobby.
Yeah. So I left there. I got an opportunity to go work at Wyeth as a summer intern, or their summer help that they used to do. Mm-hmm. I did that, and I never left. So I ended up going to Clinton. I got an associate's from Clinton. Got hired full time at Wyeth, and I had a buddy that he worked in the maintenance department. I was in quality assurance, and he had a little lawn care business.
Okay.
On the side, and this was 2004, 2005, and he's like, "Hey," he goes, "why don't you come over and help me?" He goes, "I need some help, and we were good friends, and I need somebody to come and help me mow and all that stuff. And he goes, I'll pay you pretty well and extra money for you. So we started doing that, and then I'm like, we really should have 2 mowers. I'm like, I want to go buy a mower. So I went and bought a commercial mower.
Okay.
And I was leaving my mower with him. This was in Vermont, over we were leaving from Swanton and going into like St. Albans and doing that. And then every so often I'd bring my mower home and do a couple things. Well, all of a sudden somebody found out I had a commercial mower, and the Board de Lac, which was the old original Cedar Hedge nursing home, not the
260 Lake.
Not 260 Lake, but
it was a 4 Cedar Hedge. I remember Cedar Hedge.
So that was before Cedar Hedge, because
Gotcha, okay.
It was the same owners, but that was the original nursing home.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the lady, my buddy, one of my buddies knew the lady pretty well, and she needed somebody to mow the lawn, so I started mowing that, and then my other customer, I don't do them anymore, but my other customer, and she's still one of my customers. One of my favorite customers is Pat Racine, up on Smith Street, and she was my math teacher in like 9th grade. But I've taken care of her lawn. That was my second lawn, and I've taken care of her lawn since I started this in 2006.
Wow.
And I got her, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, well, I'm getting more people that want me to do this over here.
Just word of mouth?
Just word of mouth.
Yeah.
No advertising, no nothing. And I was like, talk to my buddy, and my buddy was going a different route anyways, because he ended up actually quitting working at Wyeth at the time and went off and do his own thing, doing a whole bunch of like underground utilities. And I mean, he's done very well. And I'm like, well, I'm going to start doing stuff here and not travel to Vermont, because I'm getting people that want me to just come do work for them. And I started up, it was called The Perfect Cut. That's where TPC came from.
That's what it stands for?
Yeah. It was called The Perfect Cut.
I didn't know that.
You
don't go by that anymore?
No, because that was that was a DBA.
Okay.
So, so I started just, taking care of like Rouse's Point, Champlain, just doing lawns, doing some cleanups, doing some things. And then it snowballed. When I say snowballed, it didn't really snowball. It just kind of, it was growing progressively. And in 2011, I got my papers, I'll call them, I was asked to leave Pfizer as part of the severance package.
Yeah.
So it was my time to go. And I asked Casey, I said, what do you think about me doing this full time? And time frame, I can't think of where she was with the credit union, and we both did. We figured we could make it big enough to be supportive, and that's when I went. It was actually April of 2012. TPC became my TPC Landscaping Incorporated became my full time gig.
In 2012.
It was like April 2012 was like the first real rolling of TPC Landscaping.
That's great. But again, how at that point, 6 years, 5, 6 years.
I'd been doing it for I mean, it's but it was, and I look at it, it's like, because sometimes I'm like, well, this guy's doing it on the side and he's coming after my stuff, but I'm like, that's where I started.
Yeah,
I was doing stuff on the side, but I wasn't advertising, and I started putting a little bit stuff up on Facebook and things like that. So started making things because Facebook was kind of getting, I think, popular.
You had EDU stuff, EDU address.
Oh God, we were doing, it wasn't MySpace at least, but did you have MySpace at the?
I never had So
that was around, so popular when I was young. Yeah,
it was around.
But it wasn't a.
Well, no. So I ended up. This is my social media life. I did not have MySpace. I'm like, I don't need it. Why do I need it? Actually, here's a funny story. Now,
I like stories.
My MySpace. So I'm gonna give you the total like intro into cell phone, social media, all that stuff for me. MySpace, never had it, never wanted it. I was like, I don't need that. I see my friends. Why would I need to go to the computer? And I got a cell phone in high school. I remember getting it for Christmas. It took me like 2 or 3 months to pull it out of the box and activate it. And the only reason I pulled it out of the box to activate it was because a girl wanted me to do it so she could text. I'm like, well, there's some motivation enough.
There's some motivation.
Let me get that box open.
Yep.
But I'm talking about the phone box. So then we ended up then we ended so then we ended up getting, so we got the phone, and that's how I got my first phone. They actually had that's what it took. I was like, I don't need a phone. Then Facebook, I couldn't get into Facebook until college because it was like they had to have the EDU and email address. And then I got into college, saw someone that had it. I didn't even sign up for my Facebook. I had a buddy of mine signed up for it. One day he just texted me. He's like, "Yo, what's your email?" I'm like, "It's this."
Yeah.
Then he sends it over because I signed you up for Facebook.
I made you a profile.
Swear to God, my email I still use to this. My email I still have associated with my Facebook to this day.
Was started by your buddy.
My buddy back in 2008, I think it was.
Oh,
So,
wow.
So I was not a MySpace, but
well, we were because not to get on the social media kick, but we were so I was MySpace was the first real peer-to-peer social media thing that you were thing, but we were
friends with Tom,
but message boards.
Well, AIM. I was on AIM. As
we had AIM.
Yeah.
But I did more communication with people through message boards,
which
sport
ones
bikes, and we were I was big into the sport bike stuff.
These are just one-off websites with just
and it was specific to and for me Reddit is a big thing.
Well,
I don't do that. I don't do Reddit. I don't do any of that. But it was that was the big thing was on the message boards. That's where I met some of my best friends was through message board. I say my best, I have my core group of best friends here, but the guys that I are
you've gone out and traveled with these guys for bikes and stuff.
Yeah. And but now it's everybody's. It changes all the time. I used to Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff's there, but I try to stick to Facebook and Instagram for business wise too. So
I'm pretty much the same. This is okay. So 80K RC crawlers.
Yep.
Tell me what I'm now seeing it for the first time, but tell me what this is.
It's a bunch of grown men playing with little toys. So
it is.
It is.
Yeah, we're not going to sugarcoat it. That's what it is.
It is. It absolutely is. So 2018. I hadn't had the building for too long. A buddy of mine comes to me and they wanted to build this indoor crawler course, and I'm like, what is a crawler? And they showed me these things, and I'm like, well, this is kind of cool. I'm like, all right. I had just bought 18,000 square feet of building that I just needed really the back part of it for my business wise, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do with the rest of it. So I said, well, the storefront of that old furniture store was wide open. I said, they wanted a little 20 by 20 spot.
This is Barcom's.
This was the Barcombe building.
Okay.
Yep. This is where this. This is young. This isn't. It's only been going for like I said since 18.
So this is right in the front by the little parking lot. You walk in, had the glass.
Yeah, where it used to be the big glass windows. And
yeah, right. You walk in the front. I have visions of walking in the front.
Yeah, that big. Kid. Yep. Exactly.
So this is where all this is.
This is all right there.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, we started up. I kind of rented the spot to them. They started building this, and then all of a sudden they're like, well, you should get one. And I'm like, I was a kid. As a kid, I played RC cars. I raced
so you
them.
weren't even doing this?
No.
Oh.
No, I had been out.
I thought you were I like doing this.
No,
stuff.
I've been out of RC cars since I was probably, 15, 16 years old. We used to race oval track and stuff around here. There was, they would build tracks in certain buildings here. We'd go. There was the old the hockey rink, the Amcam.
Yeah.
So in the back of that, there used to be a carpet oval track as a kid that I raced. So I was probably 12, 13 years old, and then that had moved out to where Canine Adventure past Bucks. There was a
but next to the card place there.
Yeah, well, next to where the distributor is. He's not. They're not there anymore.
McAdams.
There was a building next to there. That's a house now, but.
In the back there, the big ranch. Yes.
Yep. So now they come to me and they're like, this. I'm like, okay, I'll go buy one for $200. It was $250 to buy this first one that I'd bought.
Yeah.
Came with a battery, came with everything.
Like an intro kind of thing.
Now it's gone spiraled out of control.
I was going to say, I'm guessing this could be expensive.
It's gotten. We're not going to talk numbers because Casey will kill me.
No.
But it's gotten to the point where we've got an awesome following. We do Tuesday nights and Friday nights. People come and just hang out, and they run on this course, and they they work on their trucks, and they're always changing things. And then we do competitions where, like, you see the little green things in the back.
You're talking about this right here?
Yeah, these little green things. Those are gates, so you got to run through gates with your trucks without hitting them, because you get points.
So it's kind of like an obstacle
yeah,
course.
pretty much. Yeah, this whole thing is built to be like an obstacle course.
So when you're racing around, there's obviously, and again, I'll kind of paint the picture here, folks. So there's like it's basically, I mean, they're little RC cars, but you've made it into like imagine a car, imagine an RC car. Now imagine an RC car that you could physically drive on a normal road or going like just off-roading.
Yep.
Now just basically scale that down to a smaller scale.
We've tried to build like indoor mountains and stuff, like from
Well, you got, like this looks like kind of like a wooden bridge, but then you have rocks, you have gravel, you have sand. I mean, this looks like you're off-roading.
Yeah.
It's basically like Honey, I Shrunk My Kids. Or Honey, I Blew Up My Kid.
Yeah, exactly. And we've done this. It's 1/10 scale. So I figure it's 1/10 the size of a true rig. But we've made it. This is more of a this rig here is the indoor thing is more of a winter thing, because a lot of guys do this outdoors. They'll go hike. Hiking trails, like some guys go out to like Point Rush and go do all the flat rocks and the hiking trails, and they'll bring there, and then they go. I find it a lot more popular in Vermont. Hardack Mountain in St. Albans, where they have that little ski hill in St. Albans that you see from the interstate. You've never seen that? No. So back in St. Albans,
I probably have, but I don't, not offhand.
On the interstate, when you're going, on the interstate past St. Albans, there's a little
on the west side. Going south would be on the left.
It'd be on the east side, but yeah, if you're going,
east side, yes.
Yeah, if you're going
south,
it'd
on
be
the
on,
left.
it'd be on your. Oh no,
no, you're right. It's east side.
It's the east side of the mountain, but it'd be on your right if you're going south. So
we're both saying the same thing, but
but in a different way. Yeah. So anyway, so like there's a bunch of hiking trails on there, and these guys go, and they've got like certain rocks that they've.
This is wild.
Go climb up and things. It's. I've met every. I mean. The amount of people I've met through this has been pretty wild. Like, I never thought some of these people that would be into it, because you're playing. It's their toys. I mean, but they're
but it's like playing darts, pool, golf, indoor golf simulator, bowling.
Yep. And I mean, that's a lot of guys do it just to get away from the everyday bustle of life. Come and hang out, and you work on your little truck, and you buying a different set of wheels, different set of tires. You're changing the way the weight is in the truck.
This is so cool.
Yeah. A lot of that is, so we've built a lot of it out of landscape material. I have old stones I've dug up, scraps.
Yep.
Pallet board. There's that.
I was wondering. So this right here, this is all just pallets.
That's all pallets, and like a couple of the pallet companies have the remnants that they have that they can't use on a pallet. Well, they've got stacks of this stuff, and you go and I get a pallet of it, and we go and we make all these roads and. This is
obviously outside.
Yeah, this is an event we did. They do events all over the country. I mean, this is.
So is this? What's an event like? Are you doing like one single time trial? Or are you racing against other guys?
Pretty much. No, well, you're doing a single run. So an event. We just went through. We just finished up a 5-round series for a certain style of truck, and then on that same day we had an open event. So anybody, they didn't have to have this style of truck. They could have anything that they owned come, and they could run another comp same day.
It's kind of like early UFC, just whatever you got, bring it.
Just bring it. Just bring it. So, but what we do is we go through. This is a swap meet we did. This picture. I mean, this is all just people bringing stuff to sell.
That's crazy.
We're gonna do another swap meet coming up probably.
I mean, you got
end of March.
A big group here.
Yeah.
How many people are in the group?
On our last meet, our last competition, we had 31 guys there running,
wild.
Guys and girls and kids, and
that's cool.
Yeah, and so each guy has to run through. We set up 2 courses. We set up 2 10-gate courses. So you set up 10 sets of gates on each. We split the course we built was big enough we can split it up and have 2 separate things going. So everybody has to run through that. Everybody gets 12 minutes to run through a 10-gate course.
Okay.
So we start at everybody gets there around 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. We start running around 10:30, and it's 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon by the time everybody's finally done and through. So you run through one person at a time through each gate or through each course.
It's kind of like skiing when you're going through the gates.
Yeah,
you
you're
go
kind
down
of,
like.
but you don't want to hit them. That's like when you see the guys that are
Also,
doing like the slalom, like they're
so it's like
smacking
operation,
gates.
like
you're
you don't wanna
trying
buzz
to
it.
yes. Your big thing is if you hit them, you're adding points onto your score. It's like golf. You want to have the lowest score.
So sometimes it's slow and slow, or slow and whatever. Smooth and slow kind
Smooth
of thing.
and slow. Yep. What they say, the tortoise, tortoise and the hare going fast doesn't always win the race.
Yeah. So a lot of it's more control, really,
Control.
over speed.
It's big on control, and it's thinking about your next line.
Do the controllers both go up? How's the controllers?
So you're using like a pistol grip controller, like it's you're
Oh, so it's in your hand like this.
you're holding left hand on the grip, and then you got a little steering wheel like on the right side. So
Shit. Wait, here let me go to images.
yes,
Like this?
yep. Like that's so Traxxas is the big company that's into this. That's that right there is the style of controller we use. We don't use like these old style.
Looks more like a video game controller.
Yeah, they use that more for like planes and stuff. That's where those are popular. But yeah, we got.
So like this one looks easy. Is this kind of, or this one?
I'm trying to find one of the ones I have. So because I want to show you, like they have different channels. Like see, this one has a little knob right there. Has them.
Oh, kind of like, yeah, right. You talking
Yep.
about this part right here?
Yeah, so you can actually control.
So it rests pretty easy. It's easy to hold.
Well, and you can control a winch on your truck from that knob. You can reel out like a winch you put on. You actually have winches hooked into your receivers that you can reel the line out, hook up, and then reel it back in and pull your truck up over something.
Wow.
Because the whole
Oh, so
like,
this
the
isn't
whole
just
thing
like
of it,
driving. Like
no,
there's
the whole thing of it is like you're trying to do it as scale as possible. Like you're inside the truck driving. You don't want to pick it
Wow.
up and move it over to here. You need to get that truck driven to there without touching it. You do lose points for using a winch, but you would lose more points or gain more points if you pick it up and move it. Like that's so it gets pretty technical. I mean, and there's guys like we have some guys that spend hours going through and just setting up suspension. And
Is there a limitation on the car? Like, is there certain points where, like, listen, you can't, and again, I don't know the technical terms, but you can't have over X, whatever your unit of it, or unit is of
weight or
torque or
power.
weight or power or
Yep.
speed or
Yep.
So do you have like
So-
regulations on that?
there are big rule books for this. I mean, like I said, this is a national.
sure this is like big
this is
money,
a national
yeah.
thing. There's no big money to be made in it. But
Oh,
there's,
like if you-
but there's big money to be spent. But like
What's the technical term? Is it just RC racing?
RC crawling, RC.
I just want to see kind of a video. No, you keep talking. I just want to get a kind of
Go look up ADK RC crawlers. We have a video on there somewhere.
Oops. Crawlers.
Yeah, we
Right
don't
here?
have. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry,
this
you
is,
keep talking. I'm gonna watch this as you talk.
Yeah, that's fine. So like, yeah, there's a rule book of like, what you can use, what you can't. There's certain classes. Like everything has a class of like stuff that looks more. So what we call scale is the stuff that looks like real trucks. Like you look like you took your truck off the road.
These trucks are
shrunk
bigger
it
than I
down.
thought they would be.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
it
decent
is-
size. I mean, it looks pretty big there. I
Just
think
'cause
from
you're
the
close
angle.
to it.
But I mean, you're. I should have brought one with me. It would have been cool to bring one. So,
Run in the
actually,
back
you're gonna have to
there.
come up. You can bring the kids up and come play with them. So
This is cool.
but we, there's different classes, and the
So that would be a gate right there, or no? That's
these guys are just there running. We don't have any gates set up on this one. This isn't a competition. This is them just
Wow.
having a free, because that's what we do on like Tuesday nights and Friday nights is we just have free. I say free. We do look for a donation. So to come and
Won't
use the
turn them
course,
away, right? Yeah.
to come and use the course, and the guys come and they hang out and they start following. Like these guys are doing follow the leader, kind of following each other through the course. But yeah, when you get into the competitions, like the rules can be very, very picky.
How
A
often?
little too over. So we kind of make our own based off of the rule sets to kind of keep it fun.
So a little bit of house rules, like just kind of whatever you.
Yeah. And Like,
Wow.
you know,
This is impressive.
yeah.
I can see how you're saying it's just kind of a low and slow. I mean, and again, people can't see this. I mean, a lot of these tracks are. I mean, I don't know what was that. Maybe no more than an inch or 2 inches on the side.
Yeah,
Either
I
side?
mean, they're running, it's...
On this
like-
one, I mean, those strap
like,
things. Is
Yeah,
going
the
over
straps are, you
tire
got to
wide.
stay right on the straps. I
Yeah.
mean, if you see the little boards over there, you got to go across. You got to
Wow.
focus on what you're doing. I mean, the amount of focus for some people. I
was just gonna say that. You guys are dialed in. Yeah.
My ADHD kicks in sometimes, and I'm like, oh, where was I doing? Oh, my truck's way over there now. So, but yeah, it's cool. Like, these trucks that these guys are running here, they're probably some of the better kits that you can buy, because you can buy a ready to run from, you can go to Lake City Hobbies in the mall and buy a ready to run truck out of the box and come run on our course.
Okay.
You can go buy a kit that the truck is in pieces that you have to assemble everything from the drive shafts to the transmission to the frame
And
rails.
I'm sure people go like
And-
they mix and match.
Putting your own electronics that you specifically want, because everything's electric. We don't run any gas. Everything's electric. And
This is so wild.
yeah, because I mean, you can, it's the 1/10 scale stuff. You can get in. You start at like in the low 300s probably to get a decent, to get an entry level truck. But you can spend up to $1,000 on a kit that has no electronics, no nothing. You have to go buy all the other stuff, and you're spending a couple $100 on a motor.
I'm assuming the kit is just because the actual frame. Someone wants a special frame or like a or a limited framework or
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, believe me, when you start saying limited, there's like this company that builds these trucks we're watching right now. These guys put out limited release stuff,
Yeah.
and they go like hotcakes.
Yeah, control the market.
And guys are putting, there's a set of wheels that had the wheels had a special color. You could buy that wheel without the special color for like $140 for the set.
Yeah.
And that set with the special color goes for $500 to $600 on eBay right now.
Wow.
But it's, it's all about, how much you want to spend on it. But you can get into it for pretty inexpensive and have an awesome time with it.
So a lot of this too, it's not like you have to follow one specific pathway.
Nope.
Like, it looks like you can kind of go off on different little.
And we made it so you can kind of,
wow.
So you can kind of make your own route.
Yeah.
I mean,
once you put the gates up, obviously it's a little more defined.
so on the gates make it totally different.
But it's not like a straight line. You have to go here, swing back around, come back, hit something else, go over there, or is it all pretty much a path?
No, you can. Like, we've had it set up where you have to like go up where that guy just went down. You have to go up, go through that tunnel, come all the way back around, come down through this, come back. Like you can make it. You can
so
make
it's not a
you
straight
just-
line.
It's
You
not a
gotta
straight
kinda-
line.
yeah,
You
yeah.
have to. Yeah,
So
you can.
Is there an advantage? I'm assuming there's an advantage to going last on this because you can see how
watch.
people are.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're the first guinea pig, you're like, oh crap,
Oh,
take
yeah.
the long way.
The guy, because we do. So I've taken old poker chips, and
Okay.
you do like a chip pull to get your
Yep.
position, and the guy that usually pulls one, you could tell
It was
exactly.
like a Chinese auction or whatever. No, what's the
kinda like
Christmas swap thing? Where you get the one, you're like, that sucks.
You
Or that's the best
you can
one.
always tell the guy that gets one because he's always like, oh, you're like, But it's there's definitely there's a lot of finesse to it. There's a lot of being able to control yourself to where too much throttle, all of a sudden you're flipped over backwards and you're crashed down in a hole. And
How often do you change the course up?
probably not as often as I would like to, but it's a lot of work. Like,
I was
going
gonna
to
say, I figured probably not that, unless you guys like one day, like, hey, we're
Yep.
gonna hit this over.
So what I've been kind of doing is like I'll go through and like a lot of the stone stuff is not like glued down. So you go and you kind of move a boulder here, move a rock there.
Okay.
Change things up. A lot of the wood structure, you kind of just, okay, let's do a lot more adding on than we do actually like tearing down.
Okay.
So add
But you could like pop something off and change the direction. And
Yeah, everything's like screwed together. And this guy's out in Utah. The terrain out there is insane. I'd like to go out there with my full size side by side and go run this terrain too. But not like that, but
I was gonna say, do you do that stuff with just? I mean, like grown up, you sitting in the the driver's seat kind of thing.
yeah. I mean, I like going.
Flipped a couple vehicles in your day.
I like anything motorized. So the RC crawler stuff kind of fits right in with what do. 90% of the guys that are in this stuff are in it because they're into some sort of motorized thing outside of it, like whether it's ATVs or like some of them actually have full-size rock crawlers that they've just they do the small stuff so that way they're not having to travel to a track somewhere halfway across the country.
This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
These things have they're pretty agile.
Very. Like it's.
I mean, the way you can turn and like kind of like the way the wheels are and suspensions.
And like the one you're looking at actually has 4-wheel steering. See, there's a that little blue thing is a servo.
Ooh.
And it's got a steering link on the rear axle, so he can from his remote hit a button and the rear axle will turn. Like
look at this thing. So you're trying not to hit anything. Like that.
Trying not to touch those. You're trying not to touch the fuzzy balls, we call them.
I mean, you probably had a quarter inch on both sides.
You cut the.
Is that the gates?
Yeah,
balls?
Those are the gates. Yeah, you cut the tennis balls. It's a big thing. People cut them in half.
Yeah.
Because they'll sit good and they've got a little rubber inside, so they won't slide around.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. So and they're fuzzy outside, so we call them fuzzy balls. Yeah. So
simple. It's a simple thing. Right?
It's a simple. Everything. The more simple it is, the more fun it is. But yeah,
cool.
It's been something like I said. I got into it because of my buddy Ian Laterno, who him and I kind of keep RC crawler the 80K RC crawlers going, and we're always trying to find like different chassis, different tires, different ways to put the weight to them.
Are they all pretty universal? Meaning, like, if you bought, just saying, like, parts from different sets and kits, do they all kind of fit together?
There's a very, yes. When you're in the 1/10 scale stuff, like, you can take those wheels and tires off of that, and you could have put them on that yellow truck that you just saw flipping over. Like, they would bolt on. There are certain stuff that, like, you start getting into bigger axle size, so you can't bolt that wheel over.
Certain brands only go with certain brands.
Yeah, there's some proprietary, but they like mixing.
Oh, God, these things are quick. How fast these things go?
So not super fast.
It's kind of like a lawnmower, just looks faster.
The crawler stuff is kind of the slow going.
Okay.
Some
of these just take off.
This guy's really popular on this stuff. I'm not a big fan of him, but
is this all he does? I mean, he's got
this is all he does. This is what he does.
7 million followers.
I think he's over from the UK. And I think actually he has like a monster truck or something he does too, like a real full-size monster truck.
Jeez.
But locally we got a guy, Trevor Rushford, who does some events. He'll have 200 people there.
He's competing against?
No, just
spectating?
People just come. Not his events are like
he hosts events,
almost like festivals.
But he hosts other drivers.
Look up ledge stock
video or
you can look up video. I'm sure there's something.
What is it? Ledge
stock
stock
STOCK.
Wait, OCK.
Yeah,
I was like corn. I was going corn stock.
Maybe all one word. Put it all one word.
Ledge stop open. Ledgestone open. Jeez,
I love it when it autofills with your.
Oh man,
yeah,
it's just what I want. I don't even know.
Oh, God. So down here, like this is.
So this is a local guy.
So he's from over in, I think Milton, Franklin, somewhere over in Vermont, over that way. Nope, that's not him. But this is just like he's getting ready for like that rig looks like a real Land Cruiser that you would go buy off the lot. Like,
oh, I mean, yeah, the resemblance is. Oh, come on. Yeah, the resemblance is almost spot on. I mean, it's like looking like the old like die-cast cars, like how like spot on those look.
Mm-hmm. So this is a competition called the Nets. So
is that the winch right there?
Yeah, Yeah, he's got a winch line on there. So you're not supposed to touch the truck by hand. Even if that truck over there that's flipped over, you're supposed to have somebody come and flip you over with their other truck.
Is there team events?
There are, yeah. Yeah.
Because I feel like your buddy's got to come and like kind of like twist you around.
Twist you around, get you flip back over. We're going to do one at the shop. We're going to call it the buddy comp.
Little team competition.
So you have to have a buddy that helps you get through. The other, one truck helps the other. We're always looking for stuff that's the more fun things we can do. Not so much like we don't want it to be stressful.
Yeah.
Because like the last comp we were at, like I watched one of my buddies have a tough time and get really stressed out about it, and it's like, and you look at it and you're like, man, it's not, we don't want to be at that point, but he was having a tough run, and then after he went and he tore apart, started working on something, and it makes you feel like. Feel better because you're trying to fix it to make it.
You got more nuance, like knowledge of it, and like you said, you have your expectation gets higher as you get more into it. But
it's a learning curve with this stuff of like what works and what doesn't, and people think that the big tall, like because there's big tall lifted ones that those are going to be better, but they're too top heavy. And when you start,
that's what I was wondering because some of these when you're going over a ledge, I'm like these things looks too low to the ground.
Oh,
some of them just kind of
want like low and your weight center of gravity wider, but wider hurts you on gates when you're running gates.
I was wondering,
well,
especially some of those tracks where you're going down and they're only, they're basically a tire width apart.
Yeah, and
there's nothing in the middle. So you're just
you got
suspended.
Well, and that's the other thing too is you've got to set up a truck that will work for what you're going to do. Because if you want to go to a big wide truck, but you're going to a course that has a bunch of narrow, bridges and stuff, well, you're only going to be able to be on part of the course, or you're going to end up, losing. Like, see, they're using the trailer to try to pull the truck up on the trailer.
So funny. It's so wild.
And there's guys. I don't get into it that much with this style of the stuff because I don't get into that real heavy scale stuff.
Yeah.
But there's guys. They'll build full towns that you drive through.
I almost feel like this is like a Tough Mudder for cars. The way these guys are doing it.
So
like trying to drag people through, like you said, apparatuses to keep people moving.
Yeah. That's what it is. You're going through different obstacles and you're trying to figure out how to get over it the best way. Same thing when we used to run the Tough Mudder, and I did run that twice. I'm not sure why, but yes.
I never have. I've had to do with it.
Not Tough Mudder, but I did the Rock Eater.
Oh, the Rock Eater.
The Rock Eater.
Get a beer at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
see how
cool.
they put it on a trailer and they're towing it back.
Oh yeah, there's the little houses.
Yep.
It's almost like a Wild West scene.
Yeah, they'll go places like some of the big companies like Proline is a big company that builds tires, bodies, shocks. Like they're one of the big brand companies. They don't build full trucks or anything, but they do big events. They'll do like a thing called Proline by the Fire, where they'll have people come in and build these little towns that you got to drive through, and things are scale, and they'll have this is the Proline.
I think they said something about Proline RC.
Yeah, Proline. You're in Proline Racing. This is the one. This is the company.
Well, actually, you know what's crazy? I'm looking at these. I'm like, that's a car. I'm like, no, that's probably not. That's actually because they look like. Real
that's an RC.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. And it looks
Was
like
a Bronco.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah. So like that Bronco is based off of I can't think of his name now, but he's an off-road racer that has. If you ever saw his real truck, that looks exactly like his real truck.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're showing the new light bars they just came out with.
Wow. Yeah, I'm sure they have pieces for everything.
Yep.
All right. Well,
full Ford body.
Andrew, we're going to end here just for sake of time, but this is pretty wild.
Yeah. It's
I can see how you can go down a rabbit hole on this.
And it's fun. Like and we do everything. Like if kids want to come and try it out, we have rentals and we have stuff that guys can come give it a shot and.
People want to. Facebook. You're on Facebook.
Facebook is our. Yeah, that's where we kind of have everything. 80K RC crawlers. That's our big way to get a hold of us through that thing. We're always posting like when we're open because it's our hobby for Ian and I. So we're not open 8 to 4:30 the doors may not open on Friday night because. Casey actually wants to go to dinner with me or something in Braden. So, so there's things and, Ian will, doesn't want to be sitting there all the time as much as I don't want to be sitting there all the time.
Yeah.
Just,
especially if you're not racing. You don't want to be.
Yeah. I mean, it is a hobby, but we also want to be there for the people that want to use it. If somebody writes to me and says, "Hey, I'm traveling. I got a guy coming, I think from Connecticut this weekend to come use the course. He's driving like 5 hours to come and use it.
Specifically to use this one?
Specifically to come and use the course. Yep. So I will make sure and be open for him if he wants to come and travel that far.
That's cool.
I mean, that's we have a good time with it. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Okay.
Andrew, also TPC Landscaping on
Yep.
Facebook. That's best. Is it a website or just Facebook?
No, just Facebook. I know a guy that could probably make me a website, but he's in Tennessee now and doesn't like me anymore.
He's
Mr.
drinking that honey.
Yeah, he's in the
honey bourbon or honey whiskey or
honey
whatever
whiskey.
he's into.
Yeah, Mr. Benner.
He's always talking. He's like, I'm going to bring you some. I'm like, all right.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
No, he's great.
He is. Him and
I
Chris
say,
are awesome.
I say
over
friend
there.
of the show, but doesn't want to come on. Hasn't come on yet.
He won't come on.
He hasn't yet. He's.
I am.
I told him he's got an open end, but he'll do it eventually.
He likes to talk more than I do.
Well, the problem is getting him to sit down for.
That's true.
2 hours, sit down and talk.
Last time we was up here, we got him to come sit down and have dinner with Casey and I. And
he said he was stopping
because he just wanted to see Braden. That was the only reason he didn't care about us.
In January. Well, no.
Yeah. He wanted to see the baby. So
I mean, you start to learn that too very quickly after every kid. Like, hey, what's the baby? Yeah.
Yep.
So
I mean, I guess if I can, give you a rundown, like we do everything landscaping wise that you could think of on your property.
Yep.
Irrigation, drainage, new lawns.
That's Judy's house, right?
That is Judy's house.
Yeah,
I love that house.
Yeah, looks nice.
And it's just getting better the more we take care of it. And
you've done all the landscaping for that?
No, I won't be able to say their name because I have to think about it. But there's 2 younger guys that have gotten into it they do a lot for like at Jeffords at the shop.
Okay.
I think Jesse knows them pretty well.
Like local kids.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I say they're kids. I mean, they're probably in their 20s, maybe 30s, but they've just been started doing it over the last few years. And she hired them to do all. And I don't like. I've been taking care of the Jeffords stuff for a long time, and as long as I can keep their lawn and things like that, I'm always very happy to let some other people put a touch on things.
Yeah.
I don't like stepping on other people's toes, but if you step on my toes, then it's fair game.
Then you're gonna drop the mower deck, right?
Yeah, there's certain things. There's certain things. It's not so much the homeowners. It's competition. The competition is we always like. There's good competition.
Yeah.
We have some really good competition. Same thing with you in real estate.
Yeah,
There's,
absolutely.
There's good competition, and then there is, the people that are going underneath, shady and.
Oh yeah, there's.
It's happening, and it happens more.
I think
every day.
It's every industry, unfortunately, but.
Yeah.
I always go back to like if you just do a good job, like
and that's
you cut through all the bullshit.
Like if you look at that house, I mean I'm maybe partial to it, but and you go look at one of the guys that just went and bought a homeowner mower and he's going out and just cutting circles around.
Oh yeah, that looks great.
There's a reason why you're paying me as a professional to come do it. So that was my first plow truck. I don't know how you found that picture.
I went back.
Yeah, that was the first
Christmas
plow,
Day, 2012.
Because I didn't start plowing snow until 2012. Jeez. I wasn't doing it before, so yeah, that was my first plow truck. So,
all right, well, Andrew Favreau, again, TPC Landscaping, and a little side gig, 80K RC crawlers if you need them. Great guy. All right, we're gonna end there. Okay. Episode 259, Galen Trombley Show. We're out. Thank you for listening to the Galen Trombley Show. Be sure to subscribe, review, and share the episode. You can follow me on all social platforms at Galen Trombley. Thanks for listening.